respect, honor, remembrance. Thousands gather in the nation's capital to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
We will never forget our heroes, ever.
Especially meaningful to Colorado, as our community lost 3 heroes in just 5 weeks.
Zachary Spurlock Parrish III.
Tonight, in a Fox 31 Support the Shield special, we travel with Zachary Parrish's family and colleagues as they witness the nationwide tribute to him and the other fallen officers whose names have been etched in stone during National Police Week. Officers who died in the line of duty. Now, from Washington, D.C., here's Deborah Takahara.
Each May, tens of thousands of people descend on Washington, D.C. and the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial. This is the only national memorial that will continue to grow. In fact, this year alone, they added 360 names to these walls. It's 2 men from Colorado who engrave each of those names into stone. We'll hear more from them in just a moment. Douglas County Deputy Zachary Parrish's name is one of 21,541 names on these walls. National Police Week is meant to honor their service and support their surviving family members. It is only fitting these families and colleagues are greeted with bagpipes playing Amazing Grace, as that is what these survivors have shown since they embarked on this journey, a journey none of them wanted or expected.
Nothing can truly prepare you for the emotions that you'll feel when you walk through the memorial and you just see all of these names and all these lives that have laid their lives down for the sake of our freedom.
From the moment they arrived in Washington, D.C. for National Police Week, survivors are greeted with honor and respect.
It's been the outpouring of the family of Blue from the minute that Zach lost his life, but it's amazing what's happened here in D.C.
It's also a time for healing for Zach's colleagues.
It brings this experience full circle. My hope is that it allows our officers to close the open wound.
The president and vice president spoke at the National Peace Officers Memorial Service.
Every American heart bleeds blue.
And at the signature event, the Candlelight Vigil, tens of thousands of people gathered on the National Mall to honor the heroes killed in the line of duty.
When a police officer is shot, each of us dies in some measure, and we must resist it in every respect.
Those in attendance felt the love and support surrounding them.
Once every candle was lit, and I could just feel this heat from all the candles, 30,000 or how many of them there were here.
During a final roll call, the names of 360 officers and deputies were read aloud, and their names were formally dedicated on the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Wall.
Zachary Spurlock Parrish III.
Gracie Parrish, Zach's widow, says she hopes the world remembers her husband as a man who loved deeply and passionately, who lived life to the fullest.
He's left an incredible legacy of life and love. He lived 29 and a half very short years, but within those years, he lived a very full life. Things don't matter, but people do. And so live life with people in mind. We're not promised tomorrow, we only are promised today.
And survivors were made a promise their loved ones will never be forgotten.
As we raise our candles skyward in silent tribute, let us solemnly pledge to always remember and cherish those who have fallen, those who have been left behind, and those who continue to serve.
Zach Parrish's name will forever be engraved on this wall, but that's not the only Colorado connection. The 2 men who meticulously worked to engrave every single letter on these walls are actually from Colorado as well.
It's ongoing. Every year.
It's a yearly ritual that starts in late spring.
Well, we just added 360 names.
Jim Lee and Kirk Bachman travel from Denver to Washington, D.C.
It's just eye-hand coordination and time doing it and watching what you're doing.
They were the first and only engravers of the National Law Enforcement Memorial.
When Kirk and I did it originally in 1991, with 17 lines and 12,500 people named on the walls.
To date, they have stenciled and sandblasted 21,541 names of fallen officers into the blue-gray marble wall.
It's a kick in the gut, every name that you hear about. Kirk mentioned to me this morning that an officer was killed May 7th.
Yes.
And that's a total of 54 for this year so far. You know, it averages around 130 names a year, one every 3 days.
It takes about 15 minutes per name.
We're trying to be very careful.
They've got it down to a science.
You know, you really have one chance to do it right. And so we take our time.
Family members and other visitors watch, mesmerized by the skill and precision of the two craftsmen.
I have had little children standing with their dad watch me put their mother's name in the memorial. I've had just the opposite. I've had people hug me. I've cried with them. It's really tough when you see the kids.
And Colorado officers are etched in their memories.
I always remember Lyle Wohlers. He was shot and killed by 2 kids, I believe. He was a fly fisherman. And I always connected with him because, you know, I'm a native Coloradoan and I love to fish, and it was so sad. They're all sad, but I kind of remember him. I certainly remember Parrish's name too. It's so recent, but you know, he was the last day, December 31st. He was the very last officer killed, I believe, across the nation. And so that just hit me. I went, oh.
They say it's not a job, but an honor.
It's a great privilege to do the work. It does get me.
The new names are dedicated each year during the National Police Week Candlelight Vigil. Bachman and Lee hope there will come a year when they don't have a single name to add.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be something special?
At the current rate, they estimate there is enough room on these walls to cover the next 2 decades, and there are now plans to expand the memorial beyond that. During National Police Week, there is a long-standing tradition of leaving all sorts of things at the wall, things meant to tell these officers' stories.
It's a beautiful memorial, even though it's such a sad reason that we're here, but it is a beautiful tribute to the people who were lost.
The walls seem to come alive during National Police Week. Visitors bring all sorts of things: flowers, wreaths, pictures, notes, alcohol, cigars, even patrol car doors. And they take rubbings of their loved ones' names. One of the most impressive sights during National Police Week is the Unity Tour, where thousands of officers from around the country ride their bikes into D.C. and right here into the memorial. Their motto is, "We ride for those who died." Photojournalist Beth Peak captures their emotional journey.
It was 4 days,
30 minutes till that comes.
285.5 miles.
Brian Bradford, 553. My dad.
Coming into the memorial and just realizing that we were doing this for 21,543 officers that have died before us.
Thank you for being here.
Congratulations!
Turning the corner and seeing that huge crowd and all the blue, all the kids waving flags and stuff like that is absolutely amazing.
We want to make sure that none of our brothers and sisters are forgotten. We ride for those who died.
And it just hits me right here.
So I have 2 family members whose names appear on the wall. First is my father. He was a Denver police officer. He was killed in the line of duty in 1987. My stepfather, his dad was also killed in the line of duty. He was a New York City police officer.
And it was such an amazing event to see 2,700 officers ride through this.
We want to make sure that that memorial stays as a tribute to our fallen heroes for all of eternity.
To date, the Police Unity Tour has raised more than $25 million for the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund, which helps maintain this memorial and is building a museum that will be open to the public later this year. In addition to the bicycle riders, thousands of officers come from around the country, even around the world, to show their support for the survivors.
Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
I am a lieutenant with the Mansfield Division of Police in Mansfield, Ohio.
From San Diego, California. I'm with the United States Border Patrol.
I'm from a place called Hertfordshire, which is about 30 miles north of London.
From Kent in the UK.
They come from all over with one goal in mind.
We're here to help the surviving family members of officers that were killed in the line of duty last year.
Most know the heartache all too well.
We lost an officer in 2007, and we came, 08 was our first year. It's good to help the family members through this difficult time.
They're here to support each other.
It made me feel real good to be around all my brothers and sisters from around the nation and really around the world.
For some, like Gareth Rees,
It's a long journey, but do you know what? It's a journey that's worth making.
the dangers of the job are real. He knows it could have been him etched on the memorial walls.
9 years ago, I was struck by a speeding car whilst I was dealing with an accident late at night. I shattered both legs and by all rights shouldn't be here.
This is his third year at National Police Week. He says he wishes he had known about it sooner.
It's about coming over and giving something back. I had a lot of help to get me back to where I am now, so if I can come over and make somebody's day just by, carrying a bag for them, then yeah.
And he says this is about healing as well. In addition to the fallen officers, National Police Week also honors the bravery of officers injured in the line of duty. Coming up, we'll catch up with Dan Bright, the Douglas County detective who was shot and nearly killed 2 years ago. The special tribute he was a part of here in D.C.